I don't think the Jacob Fatu attack was all that cut and dry. I think there's a lot more to it. So we're gonna have some fun today, and we're gonna unpack who the attacker could be and what it might all mean leading into WrestleMania. So on Smackdown, you got Jacob Fatu backstage, and he's taken out and he's a bloody mess. There was supposed to be the #1 contendership match between him, Drew McIntyre, to close Smackdown. Cody Rhodes came out at the beginning of the show to hype it all up, talk to the crowd. Cody's all in his black coat and he's got all the grays and blacks and he's not all bright and colorful for this episode. And we'll talk about that more in a minute. But we obviously didn't get that #1 contendership match. It led to Cody versus Drew McIntyre to end Smackdown. Now, I think that there are some possibilities within all of this for all the characters involved with the whodunit, who attacked Jacob Fatu. And I like when WWE does this. If they are going to go down this path, it's a storytelling device that I enjoy, is the whodunit, the masked attacker. I think some of the possible suspects here, Drew McIntyre, even though he denied it on SmackDown. You also have Cody Rhodes. You have Randy Orton. Because SmackDown ended in a DQ finish, I think we are leading for Drew McIntyre versus Cody at Saturday night's main event, November 1st. This could be almost a redemption for Wrestlepalooza and how that match ended. There's some possibilities here. Drew can keep going week after week denying that he did it, that he attacked Fatu. And we know that Fatu is off legitimately because he's getting some dental work done or had it done, but he'll be off, according to reports, until Survivor Series or after War Games. But every single week, Drew could keep denying and saying he didn't do it. He didn't attack Fatu like he did on SmackDown with Aldis and Cody. He wasn't involved in that. That can be his whole MO through this, and it could be true. So if we get a Saturday night's main event match of Cody versus Drew McIntyre again, this is where Randy Orton could get involved. Randy could end things in a disqualification for both guys. He could end up attacking both of them. He could target Cody, or we could just have the Drew-Cody match end in a disqualification. Last time Drew lost clean. So they could fast forward and stretch this thing to Survivor Series, and you do Cody versus Drew one-on-one one more time. But this time, you get Randy involved, and you could have Randy Orton hit an RKO onto Cody Rhodes, costing Cody the belt at Survivor Series. This would go in line with what was reported for Wrestlepalooza, where the idea was that Drew was going to beat Cody and get the belt, and it was going to be because Randy got involved, whether he turned on Cody or cost him the match. It could be a thing where Randy causes the DQ, but doesn't directly hit Cody. It's inadvertent, but it causes disqualification. Cody retains the belt, but it's because Randy got involved. Or at Survivor Series, you can have Randy Orton full out turn heel. Cody could retain and beat Drew McIntyre again, but at the end of the match, you could result in Randy Orton coming out to look like he's going to help Cody Rhodes if Drew's doing a beatdown, or to congratulate him, and then you have the turn at the end, where Cody gets laid out by Randy. The one question mark, though, with a Randy Orton heel turn is, how do you keep him a heel, especially against Cody? And how do you avoid Cody getting booed? People love Randy. They love to cheer Randy's song, and even if Randy's a bad guy, Randy does cool stuff. It's going to be hard to boo him. I think that if Randy was the one who took out Jacob, that can add to it. It adds a layer to Randy's heel turn, because if he turns on Cody, that's one thing. Part of the crowd is still going to cheer that, by the way. And you might run into a Cena-Cody situation where some nights the crowd is booing Cody. WWE and TKO do not want Cody Rhodes booed right now if they are not going to be turning him heel. For Randy, he can double that heat factor, if you will, if he was not only taking out Cody, but he's also the guy who took out Jacob Fatu, and you have a program with Fatu and Randy as well. Because the crowd is always going to cheer for Fatu right now. They really like him, and it gives them an incentive to boo Randy now. This way, you can have Fatu show up after Survivor Series. If he is going to be off TV until then, you now have a baked-in story of Randy versus Fatu for maybe to the end of the year. Cody can be written off TV. See, if Randy is turning on Cody, you can have Randy Orton punt Cody and take him off TV until by like Christmas, until the Royal Rumble season starts in January. And this way you can have the story of Fatu versus Randy, giving Fatu a bigger babyface push. Drew McIntyre could still be involved if they want to do that, but you are really establishing Randy as the full-on bad guy and waiting for the triumphant return of Cody. That's where I think you could end up with Randy versus Fatu, Saturday night's main event in December. And from there, Randy could win the Royal Rumble, be a third-time Rumble winner. He could win the Elimination Chamber, and then ultimately go to face Cody at WrestleMania for the title. Where does Fatu fit in all of this? I think he and Drew McIntyre could spin off after the Randy stuff, or even combined, and you have Drew McIntyre, Fatu really kickstart that feud that they did start the tease for. I still worry that Randy turning heel and going to WrestleMania as a bad guy to face Cody Rhodes, I still worry that it results in crowd cheering Randy and not getting the ultimate reaction they want. Randy as a heel has to be dastardly bad, vicious, do some bad stuff. Like, they need to bring Brandy on TV, I would think, and Randy hits her with an RKO while Cody is handcuffed and watching, just like Randy did with Triple H and Stephanie. Moments like that to really get the heel heat onto Randy Orton. It's the only way. Another quick possibility though, if it's not Randy Orton turning heel, the MFTs. It's not as attractive to me as just doing a Cody or a Randy heel turn, or Drew being the one who even did it. MFTs doing it does make some amount of sense. Solo, Jacob having their history, obviously. We saw Rey Fenix get taken out by MFTs. There's a lot of incentive, and they are running roughshod around SmackDown, taking out Nakamura, Sami Zayn, Rey Fenix, all of these different guys every single week, getting involved in Ilya Dragunov's match. There's a lot of incentive for it to be the MFTs, and you add Jacob potentially to a War Games match. If Fatu can make it to War Games in time, you could have Fatu, Sami, Nakamura, Rey Fenix, and Ilya Dragunov, your new United States champion, taking on the MFTs. That's assuming if they don't want to do the Wyatts versus MFT at War Games, if they feel like that's not a big enough marquee match. Does feel like they are building to that, but they got a couple of weeks to get there. So more interesting though, if it's not Randy, and I do really think this is a great opportunity to make Randy heel and be the one who did it. Having Randy come out and say, yeah, I took out Jacob Fatu, and you have Cody really having to wrestle, so to speak, and deal with this issue of confronting Randy and having to face him one-on-one, his mentor. They have so much history, but also they have so much in this current timeline of Randy always eyeballing the title, putting it on Cody's shoulder, always being around it, and there's always a looming threat of Randy Orton. But what if Cody did it? On SmackDown, Cody seems very guilty to me, honestly. Weeks prior on SmackDown, he was face-to-face with Jacob Fatu for their initial kind of meet and greet, where Cody's saying, I hope it is you, Fatu, who he gets to face for the title. He wants him to beat Drew McIntyre. Cody opened up SmackDown's past week with his whole rah-rah speech, trying to talk to the crowd about, ooh, do they want Drew McIntyre to win? Do they want Jacob Fatu to win the #1 contendership match? Very typical Cody Rhodes. The one thing he did that was interesting was he wore all black. Cody has done this before, and it didn't lead to anything, but I like that there is the possibilities there of what it could mean. Cody draped in all black with his big black coat, and he's got the gray and black suit combination, made him look all darker. And especially in the context of SmackDown and the ending, it helps to line it up a bit. Now, when we had Fatu on that episode of SmackDown, we had Fatu and Cody backstage again. They were talking before the #1 contendership match was supposedly going to happen. You could see far, far away in the distance, it looked like it was Drew McIntyre standing there watching the two of them, watching them talk and interact. Now, this would obviously lead to people saying, well, clearly it's Drew McIntyre, and even in the context of the storyline, Nick Aldis coming out and saying, well, Drew, I think it was you, and Drew saying, it wasn't me, I never did it. I think that's a wrinkle in there they want to make on purpose, is that Drew was in the background. That's intentional. Give people that quick feeling that it is Drew McIntyre, but pull the rug under you. So Fatu gets attacked backstage. He's a bloody mess. He's got the giant stuff all over him. He's all beaten down. Cody is nowhere to be seen. And as Fatu is being helped out by Aldis and everybody else, McIntyre's music hits. In the context of the story in WWE, how could Drew get all the way to Gorilla and out with his music hitting that quickly if he just beat down Fatu? How could he like just decimate him, run, and hit his music? Maybe they did, but it seems far-fetched. Also, Drew coming out, very calm, relaxed, put together, no blood on his hands, nothing. So then Nick Aldis comes out and confronts Drew, right? Drew says he has nothing to do with it. Aldis has known him for 20 years. It wasn't him. He also says to Aldis that please tell me you're not working for corporate Cody, which could play into what they might do with Cody Rhodes long-term if he does in fact go heel. Now, all of this with Drew in this setup, this could also work really well for Randy Orton. In terms of Drew having to deny it, Cody still wanting to go after Drew to get revenge, but it turns out that it was Randy all along. So then Cody comes out and he rushes out to the ring, just bolts past Nick Aldis and just says like, enough. Cody goes right past Aldis, doesn't even give him a chance to make a match. He just makes it himself. Cody didn't bother really checking. He turned at one point to all this, but then just immediately just went for the ring, rushed, got aggressive, and just decided we're gonna have this match. I don't want to say this was out of character for Cody, but it was very aggressive. Maybe that's just what they wanted. They wanted a big, hyped up moment to end SmackDown. Maybe there's nothing more to it. And maybe it is just all Randy Orton or the MFTs or somebody, or it was Drew in the end. But Cody was really hyper focused on Drew did it, he's the one who did it. It's almost that overcompensation. And coincidentally, Cody comes out later after Fatu is injured. He didn't go to him backstage when Fatu was knocked out. It took some time for Cody to get there, and he is rushing and he's angry. Way more than Drew was. Cody's the one who picked the fight with Drew McIntyre. So later on in this fight, and you have Street Clothes Cody, which I like that version of him. He's raged, he's mad, they're brawling everywhere. Cody's the one who made this match. Drew throws him over the barricade, and then Cody Rhodes hits him with the title belt. This causes the disqualification. Commentary keeps making points of like, look at Cody's eyes. He's deranged, he's crazy. Vic Joseph's just like, did you see his eyes? They think that Cody's gone too far. He's going over the edge. Corey Graves telling him to stop, like, don't do this. The only other time I feel like we got this kind of aggression from Cody was when he went up against Kevin Owens, and they had their ladder match at the Rumble. Now, why would Cody need to be that aggressive for Fatu getting injured? It seems, again, overcompensating, an overreaction. And Cody also just assumed it was Drew the whole time. So we could get a potential rematch at Saturday night's main event, November 1st. And then you could have a singles match, Drew versus Cody at Survivor Series. So in those matches, at some point, either Saturday night's main event or Survivor Series, you could have Cody taking it too far, decimating Drew McIntyre. Again, more of that aggression side like we saw with the Kevin Owens feud, but Cody going way too far against Drew, punishing him. Randy coming out then to get Cody to stop. Cody could push off Randy, shove him out of the way, which aggravates Randy, and Randy hits him with an RKO. So later, you could then have Randy find out that Cody's the one who attacked Fatu because he wanted to get his hands on Drew himself, worried that Fatu maybe could beat Cody, or playing off of what happened at Crown Jewel. Seth won. Seth beat Cody. Maybe Cody is going through the whole crisis of confidence thing, feeling like he needs to win and be the number one guy, the quarterback that he calls himself. Cody not wanting to lose anymore to anybody by any means. Since Randy goes away for multiple periods at a time, like he's not on TV every single week, takes little breaks, they could have it where Cody takes out Randy Orton. And then Randy could make a return, let's say at the Royal Rumble. But until then, Fatu makes his return, and now you have a matchup between Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes. Cody can fight Jacob and Drew on TV every single week, going all the way through to December. And at December Saturday night's main event, John Cena's retirement, you could have Cody versus Jacob Fatu one-on-one. And then you could, at that show, because it's going to be a big one, because it's Cena's retirement, you could have Randy make his return to confront Cody, attack, hit him with an RKO, and you've now set off this feud of Randy versus Cody going to WrestleMania. This can put Cody as not necessarily a full-fledged heel, bad guy, menacing, dark, evil, I would like to see it, but maybe more of a tweener. That Cody is doing things because he feels like he needs to. It's, again, him having to deal with that character of he doesn't want to, but he needs to hold his spot. So he's got to do these things. He's getting desperate. Randy could be the one, the voice of reason, to come in as his mentor, as one of his oldest friends, to help him and bring him back to the good side. So it becomes more complex versus just, again, ha ha ha, dastardly heel, evil Cody Rhodes. Because you're going to get the crowd to cheer for Randy, and part of the crowd is still going to want to cheer for Cody. And I don't think TKO wants Cody Rhodes as their big bad guy. Maybe not just yet. This could be a great way to do it, but I don't know if it's time yet. And so you want to have those dimensions to it. I often go back and look at Kevin Owens versus Cody in that feud. Kevin Owens' turn wasn't black and white. It evolved. He was doing in the car promo stuff. It was funny, but Kevin Owens' reasoning was all kind of baked in reality. He wasn't outlandishly bad and evil. He felt justified. So again, to get to WrestleMania, you can have Randy win the Royal Rumble for a third time to go straight after Cody. You could also have Randy win the Chamber. Mania then gets interesting because Cody could lose the belt to Randy, which would be really cool, and to further Cody into a deeper hole as a bad guy and really set off a huge heel turn that he could go on a rage for like a year. Just don't quit like midway through like Cena and just he has an epiphany and says, I like being good guy again. Don't do that. But Randy being the good guy, Cody could just, again, go even deeper to the dark side, very much like Star Wars. And instead of seeing the light, Cody could lose the belt to Randy, and then Cody just goes one step further into this whole abyss of being a bad guy. Or Cody could retain and they could just hug at the end and Randy's the one who was able to bring him back to the good side at WrestleMania. But Randy versus Cody is a multi-month story, I feel. You have so much to mine from and you could really elevate both guys and guys like Fatu, Drew McIntyre along the way. And it really is a WrestleMania feud. WWE right now, in the last couple of weeks, they have been making some different moves where we're seeing title swaps. Ilya picked up the US title the day he returned on SmackDown. Seth's injured. They've turned the Vision, Braun and Bronson, against Seth. And they're getting good, better reactions from the crowd. How do you think this all plays out with Fatu? Comment below, and guys, if you want to talk more about WWE, click this video right here and have yourself a great day. See ya.